What's up, everybody? It's your man, Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up Omaha. Today, all my guests are great. All my guests are great. But if you have any impact on my kids, if you are instructing my kids, whether it's in a classroom or if you're a coach or whatever it is, if you are teaching my kids and you have an impact on my kids' lives, I feel indebted to you. So I'm super excited to welcome my guest today. We've got Coach Curry from Papillion, Vista, wrestling coach, teacher. How are you doing today?
Very good. Doing great. Happy to be here.
Thank you for being on. So Jamila always comes home and tells me about practice and whatever. So before we get in depth into the talk about wrestling, I'd like to talk a little bit about, not only are you a wrestling coach, but you're a teacher. And you also have a twin brother who is a wrestling coach and a teacher. And you guys do it at the same school. How did all that come to be?
It was kind of unique. We both went to a junior college in California and wrestled. Then we both transferred to UNL after our freshman year, and we're both walk-ons at UNL. And actually, I had some problems with my knees. My twin brother ended up finishing out 1 year, started a second year, and then just laid up his shoes and wanted to do the college thing and concentrate on school. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how we kind of got to through our degree. We both finished up. I stayed here, got a job in Papillion, and then he actually left and went to California and was head wrestling coach out there in California for about 7 years before he came back out to Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And it's actually kind of funny. We're the Papillion Vista Monarchs, and the school that he taught out in California is Archbishop Mitty High School, and they're also the Monarchs. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
And there was an opening, and at the time in California, he had some bad luck with, a house breaking in and just some other circumstances, and him and his wife were raising a family, and they felt like that wasn't the best place for him. And I raved about Nebraska, and both of us grew up in Northern California. And so he got the job, and shortly later after that, we picked up the wrestling program. So
nice.
That's kind of it in a nutshell.
Nice. So how many years now have you been a teacher at the school?
This is my 14th year, and I think Chris is going on maybe his 6th year, I think there.
Okay.
And then this is our 4th or 5th year coaching wrestling together.
Nice. So how does it feel to, not only teach with your brother, but also coach with him?
Well, I'm glad I'm not in his neck of the woods. He teaches history, and I teach some health science classes, as well as the Education Academy and Leadership Academy. But, coaching with him has been great for the majority of the time. We're both pretty strong-willed individuals, and we like things done certain ways, and we're pretty passionate about what we do. And so a lot of that, we play off each other back and forth. I go to him for some ideas, and he goes to me for ideas. And if we don't meet eye to eye, we always can release and just get after each other a little bit. You can find us at practice, every so often, wrestling at each other just to work out the bugs.
Nice.
So that's always a good thing.
Nice. That's a good way to do it. No punches thrown or anything like that. Settle it on the mat.
We did it ever since we were little. My dad would say, "Hey, you guys got a problem? You guys wrestle outside on the grass." And so that's what we did, and we came back better because of it, I think. But
nice.
There's been some bloodshed at times with scratching the faces and that type of stuff. But we keep it pretty fair.
Yeah,
for the most part.
I have to imagine that there's like a really strong bond that comes along with all that. I mean, you guys are already twins. Even if you were just, non-twins and brothers in the same situation, you would still have a certain bond that, maybe some other people wouldn't get to experience. I mean, I don't know a lot of teachers that have a sibling that teaches at the same school, or also coaches at the same school. So it's a very unique situation.
Yeah, we growing up, we wanted to be teachers. My dad was a second grade school teacher for 30 years, and so we knew we wanted to be teachers. We knew we wanted to be coaches, and it just so happened that he went out to California, married a girl. They stayed out there for a while, and then came back in Nebraska, and then we had the opportunity to coach and teach together. So it's been good. It's been awesome. Their family coming back here has been great. Just our kids getting together and just family gatherings are a lot more. And since then, I mean, my parents have moved back out here from California. My uncle, my grandma, my aunt and uncle on my dad's side, and then both of their sons have since married Nebraska kids or Nebraska girls, and so their families are growing here. So nice. The Currys are in full force nice. In Omaha and the surrounding areas. So no, it's been good. It's been a good thing.
Nice. Well, and you get that a lot. Something that we'll probably talk about here in the future is food. But you get a lot of people who go not just in the food and restaurant industry, but a lot of people who go off to school to New York or California or wherever, and they get that culinary degree and they take their shot out there in the big city or whatever, but then they come back and bring their experiences to Omaha, and then it brings a nice culture of diversity that we have here in the food industry around the area. But it's not just food. I mean, Nebraska, Omaha is just one of those places where sometimes people, they either stay or they move away and they come back. So, that's cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about food a little bit, and I know you tried a ton of restaurants. I talked to Jamila several times about, hey, what pizza restaurant are you going to this weekend? Because you guys hit them up all, and that's cool. Those businesses give you shout outs and you reciprocate that, and that's a two-way street. But as far as people coming back to the Midwest, it's feels like home. My values were. I grew up in, my parents, I grew up out in the country. I had orchards all around us. I remember running for days and being lost in an orchard field and not knowing what direction to go and shooting BB guns and doing all those types of fun stuff. But yeah, definitely feels like home out here, like it did in Northern California. So that's definitely a plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's easy to build on that and get that sense of community with so many people who are, used to it. So it's a great thing. Now into the wrestling portion of things, I'm super excited. As we've talked about before, we've been doing jiu-jitsu for years, and wrestling is actually what got Jamila excited about doing jiu-jitsu. Because there was times when she didn't want to go to practice, but maybe it was, I think we did wrestling for the kids 2 days a week or something like that during that time when she was kind of struggling with getting the motivation to go. So wrestling was the first thing that really caught her attention. So being able to actually do it now in high school, it's exciting to see her excited. So, and I'm glad that, she has some cool coaches that she can go to for help.
Yeah, with the first year of the girls wrestling, it was kind of a trial by fire, and I don't know, if we would have done a lot of things differently. I mean, with the program and with the girls have been awesome. I mean, they have done everything we've asked them to do. You couldn't ask for better athletes to coach, and I think that's what made the experience just all the better. And I remember, because I didn't meet Jamila until she showed up, and I'm like, oh, we got another girl. We got another girl. And I started to get excited, and I saw Jamila and she got her glasses on. I got, Jamila, you're not going to be able to wear those, And so we get into wrestling around and getting to know the girls a little bit. And then she actually took a child development class, not with me, with another teacher, but it was in my room. And I remember going to the back room and getting my lunch, and I see her and I'm like, oh, she's got glasses on. That's Jamila. Jamila, what's going on? Yeah. So giving her a pound and seeing a bright smile on her face was always good. And then seeing her in the wrestling room, just learning all they can. Janelle, I got to tell you, we got to thank the people that have actually put us in a spot that we can actually wrestle this year. Our administration all the way up to, the NSAA with Nebraska sports. We hear it from across the board. States aren't wrestling. States aren't doing anything for those kids. And we are, going back to what we talked about in the very beginning before the show. I mean, we live in a great spot, and people care about the things that we do. And if it wasn't for those people making those tough decisions, then we probably wouldn't be here talking. And that's a really, really cool thing. So where I grew up, Chris and I grew up, is Corning, California. And there's some past wrestlers that we wrestled with that are coaching the team now. And they're texting us and they're, DMing us on Twitter and just trying to find all that we can. They're living vicariously through us because their season hasn't even started. And that was kind of surreal. I'm like, geez, you guys going to be starting up here soon, but man, they're no word. And you know what? I think there's a way that you could do it, a safe way, like we did.
Yeah.
Why other states don't do that, but that's might be for another show.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, last year was one thing where kids were missing out on, the developmental years, but to come into, a new year and still have those issues, it's tough. So yeah, it is cool to see that the kids have some kind of outlet to participate in, because I can't imagine kids having to sit around the house all day, every day, because they can't go out and do stuff. Like, these are the years that their brains are still developing, and, they need that social interaction, and, it's really important. So these are like the crucial years for a lot of kids. And yeah, I'm just glad that there was some way, especially since we weren't doing jiu-jitsu, where she was getting exercise and she was like learning a new thing, a new sport. And I think one of the coolest things about it was that it wasn't something that we pushed on her or, asked her about. She came to us about it, said, hey, Emma's wrestling. I think I'm gonna sign up too, and I got to go to this meeting and whatnot. So once we got all that figured out, she was good to go. And I'm more on the cautious side because people call me a germaphobe anyway. So I've always had I've always had hand sanitizer and stuff on me. So I'm like, I don't mind not being around people right now, but if that's what you want to do, cool. That you can go ahead and do that.
Hey, just as you were talking, it made me think, from the parents' point of view. I mean, this is a new sport. This is a new, environment for her, in a way, but as a parent, you probably had some, reluctancies or, gosh, are we really making the right decision sending her, to something totally new? So as a coach, man, I commend you as a parent to just be like, hey, yeah, if she wants to do it, let's see her. And if it doesn't work out, we can always do other things. But, I wish a lot of parents would have your perspective in it, that try something new is okay.
Yeah.
And, we can learn and we can love and, we can get better through a lot of different things, not only the sport, but just being able to relate to people and just the power of trying something new, I think, is huge. So
yeah.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. And I think sports, I mean, you would know, sports are a great way for kids to not only have a challenge, but as a parent, of course I want my child to do well. That's not a question. But at the same time, I kind of don't mind seeing her lose either, because I want her to experience what that is. Like, I want her to know how it feels to lose. And I hope that it motivates her to do those extra reps, in practice and whatnot, and just do those extra things. Like I'm telling her in the off season, listen, if you're going back, you know what it is now. You know that these girls are tough and they're strong. So you have to push yourself to get better too. So we can lose, however many in the first year or two, but as long as we learn and build on that and get better and know what it takes to get better. So, and that goes to great coaches, helping them see and keep them motivated, along the way.
I mean, just speaking from Jamila, what a difference from the first match all the way through. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation, and just her growth and learning. I think the girls exponentially got better. Did it always show on the match? Probably not so much. You're up in the stands, you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't she just take that leg? The leg is right there. But, I'm just as frustrated as you. I'm like, gosh, but you know what? With, like you said, more mat time and more experiences and getting in the weight room and getting a little bit stronger has that confidence factor. I think all the girls will be just exponentially better in years to come. And it's good that they're getting in so young. We had one junior on the team and 3 freshmen. I went and watched the junior high wrestle on Tuesday. They got 2 awesome girls coming up, and we're excited to have those 2 girls. I think they've got some other ones that tried out and then decided not to. And, and that's their thing, but hopefully we get some more girls up and we can mold them and really just help them out and grow in those early years as they're a freshman. And hopefully as a senior, they're placing at state, winning at state, and then we can bring home some titles that way. But got to do the work first and got to put in the time first to get that done.
Yep. So how does that go in high school? I know you said that you saw that there's a couple of girls in 8th grade who are on the wrestling team. Is there anything where you're kind of like doing some sort of recruiting of the kids who are coming through?
So we're pretty fortunate. We've got the junior high that we work really, really close with. We have a high school coach, Jason Boatwright, who also coached that to junior high. He's a teacher there as well. And so that bridge between the high school and the junior high has been really, really good. There is 2 wrestling clubs, one that's out of our school called the Wrestling Factory. And then there's another one across the street called MWC. Yep. MWC has practice specifically for girls. I am not sure exactly what their numbers are. From what I've heard year or maybe 2 years ago. So I think their numbers are just growing. The sport actually went from the state tournament 2 years ago, or not this year, but last year was like 107 girls, and there are 180 girls at this tournament. I mean, I don't know a faster growing sport other than that. And they're seeing it in Iowa, they're seeing it in Minnesota, all in the Midwest. And so, and around, I guess I can't speak for California too much and some of those outside states, but it's a fast growing sport with a lot of potential. And you see it in the Olympics, and those girls are getting a lot more fame. Jordan Burroughs, a great ambassador of wrestling, is supporting those girls, and he goes to Final X's and does outings with wrestling tournaments, and there's girls wrestling right in bouts right next to him and right after him, and so that's only going to just enhance that support as it grows.
Yeah. And I know for us, actually 2 of our coaches at the dojo through the years, they would always talk to Jamila about wrestling and the possibilities for the future, and how once she got around to this age, how she could start wrestling with the school, and talking about having those conversations about college and scholarships and whatnot. So, we're fairly confident that if Jamila wants to go to school or to college, that she'll have an academic scholarship of some sort. But I told her, I said, it wouldn't hurt for you to have, some kind of sport on there as well, if you want to have the best opportunities for where you decide to go.
Yeah, it's you're speaking about jiu-jitsu, and so let me backtrack a little bit. So we went to West Valley college in San Jose, or actually in Saratoga there between San Jose and San Francisco. Lived with an uncle. It was an awesome experience. When I was a freshman, we had a kid named BJ Penn come to the wrestling
nice.
team. So I am sure that name drop, you'd be familiar with that. And so wrestling him, now he joined our team and just wanted to learn wrestling because he was going to get into fighting and things like that. And BJ Penn, he knows submissions, he knows jiu-jitsu, he knows that stuff. I mean, he's the pinnacle. Wrestling him, he would always fall to his butt and then try to wrestle us on the ground. He was really good at the ground, but didn't know how to take shots. And I wrestled at 149 in college, and he wrestled at 157. So every once in a while I get an opportunity to wrestle him.
Yeah.
But what a good dude. And my brother, actually, when he stayed out in California, when we graduated from Nebraska, he went out there. Chris went to a bunch of his fights and still has his shirt. You'll have to ask him next time you
That's pretty cool.
Your BJ Penn shirt. And, so that's pretty cool. So the sport is pretty linked to wrestling in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And it's so good for a lot of times in jiu-jitsu, like you were saying, those takedowns, you're not familiar or used to taking those shots. So wrestling is so good. And you can tell, there's a lot of guys who are good at jiu-jitsu, but when you get a guy who's got wrestling experience, it's kind of a different ball game, because wrestlers, I've always said it coming up through my years, wrestlers and farmers are like the strongest guys ever, just always. And so then you have the wrestling farmer, and it's just bro, I don't even know what to do with you. I can't even move you at all. So those guys are really good with they may not necessarily be good at jiu-jitsu, but their base and their balance and everything is really good. So they're used to being on those levels and staying low. And even if they don't know any submissions, they're able to take you down to the mat and try to get in a better position. So it's great to see it be, kind of linked in a partnership between the two sports. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't teach too much jiu-jitsu. We've had some, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, we had a kid, and I can't think of the name for the life of me, talk about some mixed martial arts stuff, because we had some seniors that were to go off and try to get in that arena. And I can't think of the guy's name, but they came in, but showed us a couple of holds and did a couple of things as far as, that mixed martial arts stuff, but pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I just love the wrestling, and it puts you in such a good spot when because everybody's starting on their feet. Yeah. Like you said, BJ Penn, some people go down to their butt or whatever, they try to pull guard, but all the matches start off on the feet. So you got to figure out how to get it down to the mat. So having that wrestling background is just so crucial. And those guys are really good. Now, I asked Jamila, is it kind of for her brain, is it kind of confusing after having so many years of jiu-jitsu and then trying to switch to wrestling mode? You don't want to be on your back in wrestling, but in jiu-jitsu, you're perfectly fine being on your back. And she's like, yeah, there's some times where, it just takes me a second to think about what I'm doing because I want to do jiu-jitsu. So that's crazy too.
Yeah. With the girls being there, come off the mat, and, with guys, I'm like, hey, did you see the opening with the shot? Did you see the elbow up? Did you see him step? Did you see your timing stuff so you could take a shot? And normally they're like, oh, I missed it. And then you go over there and you tell them that, hey, every time you lift in the elbow, there's your shot on that side. With the girls this year, them being brand new, it's like, hey, so, what do you think happened? Did you know, what move were you trying? You kind of ask them questions to where their thought process, I get that blank look, I don't even know what happened. I don't even know how I got in that situation. And,
Yep.
They keep going, and it's like, okay, all right, well, let's go watch film. Let's check it out. And that's another thing with the girls. They wanted to learn, and they said thank you after they learned something or you told them something. you know, and, you know, that's a tribute to having good parents too. I mean, you know, when you have a person that gives you information or gives you something, you say thank you every time, that person's going to give you more information. That's going to be a merry-go-round for success. And you can see that with a lot of the girls and what they learned. And, you know, Jamila didn't even know what a fireman's carry was at the very beginning. And now she did it a couple times at state to some girls to like absolute perfection. And one of them was on the highlight that was tweeted out, and that type of stuff. I mean, I was like, yes, you're getting it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it is. And when I saw her do it, because she actually told me after your practice when you guys were teaching the fireman's carry, she told me about it. And I think she had did it a couple of times in jiu-jitsu, but not – she went through a period in jiu-jitsu where when she started, she was like the smallest kid. But over the 8-9 years, she ended up being the oldest kid and longest tenured kid. So she couldn't do all of the stuff that they were going over in training because some of the kids weren't as big as her. So it was cool to see, like, not only her take in that information and tell me about it after practice, but then go out and do it. And I know in the match that she did it. She kind of went to the well one too many times, and the girl stuffed it the last time. But she was excited that she did it, and she didn't know how it looked in her head. So being able to go back and see it, she was really excited. Like, and when I saw her do it, I was so happy for her. Like, it was wonderful to see. And you were saying about the highlight reel. When she was making hers, how you had the girls make their own highlight reel. There were a couple reversals and things that she had on hers, and she goes, I don't even know how that happened. She's just like, I don't even know. It's like my body just moved. And I said, well, yeah, when you practice that stuff every day, I mean, you get into a groove where you just react without thinking. Like, that's why you practice. That's why you have to get 10,000 reps or whatever, so you can do stuff like that, and you have that faster reaction time. But yeah, Absolutely. It was definitely cool.
Yeah, and our girls, they practiced with our JV team, and it was great that we had perfect, you know, even numbers. You never want to leave anybody out. Thing the guys did, you know, and so, you know, when our guys were doing sprints, they were doing sprints. When they were doing up downs, they were doing up downs. And so we, you know, our philosophy is that, you know, if you're a wrestler, you're a wrestler. You know, you're not a girl wrestler, you're not a guy wrestler, you're a wrestler. And I think the mentality is the same. I mean, are they going to, being new to the sport, are things going to be slower and, you know, maybe a little step by step? Absolutely. And, you know, as a coach, I think you have to understand that, realize that, you know, but then also push and innovate and, you know, give stuff that you did before and learn new things to just keep things health and fresh and new. And then you'll see good results. And hopefully this continues. We've seen, you know, just with that philosophy, we've seen a lot of wrestlers do really, really well, you know, and, you know, case in point, we had a kid senior this year, never placed at the state. He went every year and didn't place at state. Mm-hmm. And this year, he had a winnable match, was going against a sophomore first round in their 16-man brackets. And our guy got second at district. So he was wrestling a kid that got third in another district. He lost his first match, and a loss in the first round and having to wrestle back is really, really tough. And I don't care what sport it is. And
the pressure,
you know, and I told him, and I said, this, you know, that match doesn't define you. You know, let's go out there and let's do our thing. You know what you're capable of doing. Let's just take it one match at a time, one score at a time, and just keep moving forward. And he won his next match. He won his next match after there. And then he had his heartbreak match. So he had to win 3 more just to get into the medal round to place. Mm-hmm. And I went through all of Class A and have all the wrestlers, 14 weight classes, 16 guys in each weight class. There were only 3 kids that went all the way and placed after losing their first match, and he was one of them. Nice. And not just a testament to him, but just a testament to, hey, this is my road. It's always been tough. I know I'm not the best, but I know I work hard and I know I deserve it. And he forged his way through. So that was a shining star in the grand scheme of state. I mean, there are a lot of, because it's a roller coaster of emotions, because it's the last tournament. And sometimes you just don't know who's going to show up and who's going to, get the best of you. Because, some people are on, winning streaks or losing streaks, or, their confidence is up, their confidence is down. And shoot, we can have another session talking about that too, but with athletes and being able to compete, because that's just the mental game of sports is just a huge part. I mean, you see so many different teams and athletes, acquiring a coach and getting them to talk through their situations. And we do some visualizations, and we try to do as much as we can, encourage kids to have journals and things like that when they write, just write about their experience, so that, make sense of it so they can get through it and then work on, new stuff. But that's a huge deal.
Yeah. And I like how you said, it's not, girl team, boy team, it's the wrestling team. And I know, last week when state was going on, Jamila, felt for one of the seniors who she thought was going to make it to, the finals, and he lost. I think Cole, maybe.
Yep. Cole.
Yeah. She just felt bad. She's like, I was taking her, wherever I was dropping her off at to go with the girls to go take her down there. She was just talking about it on the way. And she goes, Cole lost. Like, she's like, I can't, she just was in a state of shock, I think, a little disbelief, because she's like, he's good. Like, she knew he was going to make it through to the next round. So she just couldn't believe that, like, he didn't make it.
Yeah, he's one of our leaders. He, as a kid, that I'm trying to count how many. I mean, he had close to 50 matches this year, and I can count on one hand how many times he lasted the full 6 minutes of a match. And because he's a pinning machine.
Yeah.
And this is this time that the interesting thing about Cole is he made the finals when he was a sophomore. And, and he faced a really, really good kid, the senior at the time, and ended up losing. And then the next year he faced a senior in the semis again, and came up short, but battled back and got third. I think this loss was really message was to him is that, again, you're not wrestling to the sake of winning. You're wrestling to get to show that you're that you're dominant, that you're the best, and your skills, and you're confident in your skills, and just to wrestle your best. I mean, that's what your performance needs to be. And, luckily there's people that lose that semifinal match and then lose, and because they can't handle that loss and that adversity. But he ended up losing his next one, but then he came back and won his last one, finished it out the way you need to. And I was proud of him for doing that. But then again, he's been through a lot. He's grown up a lot. He's going to wrestle in college, and he's looking for the next chapter, and he's going to do big things. I'm looking forward to watching him in college. He's going to be a destroyer.
Nice. And you guys overall, I mean, like, before this year, you guys have had strong wrestling teams. So you guys aren't, it's no stranger to you guys being, there at the end.
When you told me about the season, and I wanted to give you some stats on what we've been doing. So in 2016-17, we ended up third in our district. We placed sixth in the state with 79 points. We had 8 qualifiers. We had 2/3, a fifth, and a sixth. The next year, we were third in our district. Ninth at state, had 72 points. The next year after that, second at district, 8th at state, 77.5 points. Last year, we were second in the district, 9th in state, 80 points. So our points have always kind of increased. This year, obviously, second in district, man, we were one match away from winning our district, and that was tough. But then 5th in the state, 103.5 points.
Nice.
So, you can only worry about yourself, and we're improving with our points every year when we get to the end. And, the place at state, you know, there's so much switching with athletes going to different schools. Millard South ended up getting a couple of transfers in to an already stacked team.
Yeah, they were killing it.
Yeah, and you know, they've got two to La Vista on their team, and you know, it is what it is. But but the points, you know, going from the 70s to the 80s now to the 100, and just that improvement we're really proud of. So nice. Hopefully we continue it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's all about building like a culture, you know, even through the years. You got the people who are coming back who, you know, they have that experience from the previous year. So they know what to expect when they come in. And hopefully, you know, those are the guys that are setting the example for the new people coming on, and just, you know, kind of showing them the ropes and letting them know like, hey, this is how we do it here. Like we expect this level of, you know, participation, and you give in like your best effort, you know, and that's one of the things too, like you said, we never have put any pressure on Jamila in the sports that she has done. Like, just do your best. Like, I don't care I want to see you win, but it's not the end of the world if you don't win. Just go out there, do your best, have fun, and learn. And like I said, like she walked away without any injuries whatsoever or anything like that. I mean, she did complain about some soreness in her knee, but she didn't have any actual injuries. And I don't even think that she had different scrapes and stuff, which was kind of cool. I said, you should be proud of that. You got that black eye? Yeah, that's cool. So
bloody nose.
Yeah. Like all that stuff is just like, no, man, that stuff is fine. Like, just enjoy it and experience it, and just, it's all about growth, and try those different things to find out what you like. If you love wrestling now and you decide that it's not for you and you don't want to do it again, that's fine. Just, you have to do something. And again, she was so excited about it, and she didn't even want to stop practice. You know, when the boys kept going, she said, I hope they let us, like I told you, I hope they let us keep going to practice. Like, I don't want to stop practicing right now.
I've been around the sports, I mean, coaching for 14 years, and I've never, ever had any athletes at the end of the season want to continue as bad as those girls wanted to continue. And it wasn't just one, it wasn't just two, it was every single girl. And they had smiles on their faces. And I mean, I was like, on the bus ride home, and even before the bus ride home, they wanted to talk about, hey, when can we get back in the wrestling room? When can we continue? And I'm like, I don't even know what to tell him. I mean, can we get back in the room? And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, you know, we're going to have varsity go that last week and, you know, week and a half or whatever, but yeah, they can continue. We still got a JV meet. They can continue to roll around and have some fun. And then we do have a banquet coming up on Tuesday. I believe it's 7:00, 7:15, something like that. And we'll be able to recognize those girls for their effort, and the guys too, and show some highlights, and really just kind of culminate the year and celebrate, because there's a lot of things to celebrate, not only just having a season, the very basic of having a season, but having matches and having referees and having fans and getting able to do our thing. But to have our athletes go do those things, you know, like winning tournaments and just winning medals and all those things that come around with it, but also learning about the sport and learning about each other and learning about themselves. That's huge. You can't put a money value on that.
Yep. And, you know, she was, when you guys told the girls about the jackets, or the varsity letter, I can't recall a time where I've seen her get so like emotional about something. Like, I think she might not watch this, so she may have cried. She may have cried after you guys announced that. So that to me, I mean, I already knew that she cared about it, but that was like, she really cares about this, and she really is invested into wrestling. So, you know, I couldn't ask for anything else. I'm just happy to see her, you know, take some pride into what she's doing. And, you know, she never gets down about the stuff, or, you know, when you guys are talking to her and or the girls, and maybe she didn't do something right. I've never seen her get down about it. She might get frustrated that she didn't do something well enough, but there's never a thing where I don't think I've ever really heard her complain about wrestling the whole season. Like, so it's crazy.
Yeah, that's attitude. I mean, that's all four of them, and their attitude has been just awesome. Chris, Chris and I are in the district, and we're coaching, and Boatwright is also a teacher in the district, and he coaches with us. And then we have like 3 or 4 volunteer guys, including Coach Schuster, who's our female wrestler, that is helping out the girls. But she's got a job that's not like a teacher, so she's here some days and not other days. And so I kind of was the guy that's been around. Chris had to run practice there, and so when the girls are at tournaments, like, hey, we need somebody to drive the van. Scott, you got to do it. And so, I did it for the first couple of times. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Are these girls going to have fun?
Yeah.
And just want their experience to be fun and positive. And going to that first tournament at Springfield, we were all in the van. It was kind of quiet, and they're kind of on their phones. And I just wanted to liven up the mood and just kind of get a gauge of where they were at. And I said, hey, did you guys bring your extra socks? Did you get your extra socks? Because as a wrestler, your feet are going to sweat, and that, you need to. Then we told you that you need to bring extra socks, and you switch out your socks every match. And you should have seen their faces on their, they just were like in disbelief, like they didn't have what they required, And I was like, and I told the other coach, and I kind of winked at her, and she's like, yeah, you got to have your extra socks. I told you guys. What are you talking about? And then next thing I see them like texting their parents, and I knew it wasn't going to be a big deal. So I was like, guys, don't worry about the extra socks. It's not about extra socks. I just played a joke on them. And before you know it, no. Socks for me. She doesn't know why, but she's going to bring extra socks. And I'm like, tell her not to bring extra socks. I'm just joking with you, but they're having fun with it. And that's just another story along with a lot of other stories that we had.
Yeah.
But great group of girls. I'm looking forward to next year, and I'm looking forward to the off season and seeing them grow. It's funny, girls don't normally talk about their weight, but it seems like they talk about their weight a lot more to me than they ever probably wanted to or ever thought about talking to another male about their weight. But they're proud of it. It's like a badge of honor.
Yeah. And I will tell you, Jamila enjoyed the rides, and she would talk about you singing and just whatever. She did enjoy it, and I think that really was some crucial bonding time for her. She actually got mad at me at state when we stayed in York and she couldn't ride back. And I said, man, I didn't know that would be a big deal to you. Like I said, if we go home, it's going to be, 11 by the time you get to bed, probably. Like, we're just trying to save you some travel. And she just, like, we should have just planned it so she could have came back with one of the other girls and stayed or something, because she was not happy the whole night. I think she was still mad at me the next day.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. And my wife's like, it's not about that. It's about the bonding time with her team. I was like, oh, sorry. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, those van rides. I mean, it was a period of time where I didn't hear a peep from them because they're all on their phones. And then after that, it was like, coach, turn the channel. Let's play the music game. And then I'm playing the music game, doing the dial, and they're singing about every other song and knowing the words to it. And I mean, I like to sing every once in a while, but I'm horrible at it. So don't ever record me.
Man, now I'm sure that made it all the more fun. And, I can say that she really enjoyed it. And I'm happy to have her back into it next year. So I know she's excited and ready. And, like you, we want to see what happens next year. And not just for Jamila, for all of the even the boys, like all of the wrestlers. I found myself being so into these meets when I didn't think that I would be. And even when there's not like a Papillion Monarch on the mat, there's just or a couple of random schools, I still find myself and like the other parents in the stands were still like cheering for people and like telling them what to do. Oh, do this or do that. No, turn into her, turn into her, you know. And it's like we don't have a dog in the fight. Like we're just enjoying. Like never in a million years would I have known that I would have been so interested in high school wrestling. And like I told you, it was an eye opener for me. Yes, I've seen girls who compete in jiu-jitsu, but there didn't seem to be a ton of girls around for Jamila to watch or do jiu-jitsu. So that's one cool thing about the wrestling is there's so many other girls that she can see. And she's always been good about making friends at tournaments and stuff. So she made some this year at different schools. And just seeing all the grit and the toughness of some of these girls, like I'm like, I don't think I would want to step on the mat with that girl. Like she that girl is tough. So it was cool to see. So I'm thankful and appreciative that we got to see that, and my wife got to see a couple, even though she works all the time during the evenings or on the weekends when these meets are. She was able to catch a couple, so it was nice.
Yeah, hopefully, we'll have a full season. It was kind of fly by the seat of our pants. Some of these tournaments would get canceled, and then we're trying to find other tournaments because we want to give these girls mat time. And I mean, I imagine it was just a nightmare for a parent because it was a nightmare for me too. Usually the schedule gets all laid out and we know exactly what's going on and where to go and whether we're taking a bus or a van or whatever. But, this COVID time, both guys and girls at tournaments and mats were – our meets were being canceled left and right. We're trying to reschedule and it's just been, it was tough as far as a season like that. It didn't have to be that demanding as far as the schedule portion, but it was tough. And hey, credit to our ADs and our, the ADs of all the schools and the principals for having that, that caring, that passion to get the sport across. And, basketball and football and all the sports just to make them happen was awesome.
Yeah. And as a parent and the lack of communication with my teenage daughter at some points, I'm saying, I'm trying to get stuff in line ahead of time so I know what's going on. And Jamila just sometimes would not know, or she something would get lost because she didn't get it directly from you guys. She heard it from another girl on the team or something, and then that was not what it was. For all of that, and I mean those little instances, it was so still worth it. And nothing else I can say aside from thank you to you and all the coaching staff for teaching our kids, man. Like I appreciate it so much. Like and you guys did a great job.
I appreciate it. I'll let the other guys know and Allison know. They deserve as much credit as I do. And I mean, they're walking by, giving pointers and showing them moves and doing all those kind of technique things and then giving them that forwarded on. And I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward. I was kind of nervous, like you touched on earlier. I was kind of nervous going into the season, didn't know what to expect because I was never really like a team guy or a sport guy in high school. So, it's a growing thing for me as a parent also. So next year we'll come back and we'll know what to expect a little more, and we'll just be ready to roll.
Let's do it.
Before we go, we have to talk a little bit about the food, though. Favorite restaurant? What's your favorite restaurant?
Ooh, well, I mean,
it's a tough question.
For a certain type, then I've got certain restaurants I go to. I mean, if it's a Saturday for lunch or and I need something, I'm probably gonna go get a burger at Stella's. I love that place.
We just were there last week.
Oh my God, and the good people. I mean, the ladies there are awesome. My favorite food is Mexican food.
Nice.
I love Mexican food. We used to go to Cantina Laredo a bunch at Midtown before. My wife and I really love that place, but I'll try anything. We really like what's the place in Shadow Lake? We actually recently ate at
the El Chicano.
And God, it was a horrible snowy day. What's that?
Was it El Chicano?
Yeah, El Chicano. Yeah. It was pretty good. Got some street tacos, and it was delicious. Ollie and Hobbs is good. God, what are some other places? I love breakfast places. There's a place in Millard that makes like homemade Pop-Tarts. So they're like they're really, really good. If you haven't, it's on Q Street and probably 156th. Really, really good.
Okay.
There's a breakfast place also in Springfield, Platteview, downtown, and I forget the name of it too, but it's the only breakfast place down there. That place is legit.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too many to mention.
Yeah, there is. I mean,
don't tell me yours. What do you like?
Oh man,
tell me where do I need to go?
Well, I always say my food home, and the reason that I am the Omaha fatty is Golden Bowl Chinese out in Bellevue. They even have a menu item that they deemed the Donnell special. It's a giant crab rangoon. It's the size of 4 individual ones, but it's just one big one. And it just happened because we were joking about it one day, and he said, "You know what? No, we'll call it the Donnell special." Okay. So that is my food home. But like you said, there's so many places. Oh man, and it's so hard because some places do certain things. I mean, they're not all the same. So they have one thing that they do or that they're known for that's different from another place. Man, sushi, we've been going to, like, that's probably one of our favorites. We go to Ahi Sushi more often than we go to any of the other sushi places.
Is that in Bellevue?
No, it's out on 124th and Center, 120th and Center, something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That place is really good, and they have ramen also. So we'll get some sushi and get some ramen. So we'll kill 2 birds.
Absolutely.
Pizza, since we're doing the pizza tour, the top 3 are Virtuoso out there on 156th and Center. Virtuoso is in Benson. Paisans is out on 156. That is one. And then I rediscovered how good Lighthouse Pizza is.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that stuff was really good. Burgers. You know what? For as much as we like Stella's, we don't go there enough. I went there last Friday because the girls were doing the Lent thing with the fish fry.
Oh, yep.
I didn't want fish, so I went and got a burger from Stella's. So that was really good. There's just, I don't know, like you said, there's just so many good places to go eat. I'll try to support local as much as possible. Grecian Euros, I actually just went there tonight because Mitzi, my wife, and the girls went to Anthony's for a celebration for my brother-in-law. I assume that it went well. He was proposing to his girlfriend tonight.
Oh, that's big news.
Afterwards. Yeah.
That's
so I said, well, if they're gonna go eat out, I need to eat out too. And my default, because it's close and it's good, is Grecian Euros right there next to Genesis by the school.
Yep. We've been there.
And then Mexican food, I like to, like I said, local. El Vallarta over there is our favorite Mexican food around here. So yeah, those are probably my go-tos. Barbecue, it's hard for the barbecue because you got Papio Pit, but then there's Porky Butts. Porky Butts is just so far away. There's no quick way to get to 160th or 156th and Maple from Papillion. Sure. So, but that's pretty good. They've got another barbecue place down there on like 48th and Center is Wayne's New School Barbecue. That would probably be one of my favorite barbecue places. So yeah, I'm all over the place.
You ever go to Benson? What's it called? Right across the street from the school in the park. Um,
The Heartland, or
Heartland Barbecue. Yeah.
you know what? I almost went there this past Sunday, but I ended up going to Jim's Rib Haven in North
Oh.
Omaha. See, I was supposed to go out to this food truck called Tilly's Stick Barbecue. I don't know if it's every Sunday that they're out in Bellevue, but they opened at 12, and I think I left and got there about 1:15ish, and I didn't see the truck. So I sent them a message, and they're like, with all the snow, we didn't pack a heavy load, and we thought we weren't going to really get anybody. We sold out already. so we were
Not awesome. You got to miss out, but
yeah. I was like, you know what, man? Hey, that's fine. That just means that it's good. I'll come back. But I already had the mindset that I wanted barbecue, so we decided to try someplace new. And there was like, it was going to either be Heartland, Jim's Rib Haven, or Boxer Barbecue out in Council Bluffs. They were all about 18 minutes away, so I just said I'll just go to Jim's Rib Haven. So
I'm gonna try that out. I love ribs. I mean, I go to KC and
ooh,
down there, but I need to. I mean, I've been to the place in Bellevue. I mean, I've been to Papillion Pits. That's awesome. I've been to Will Smoke You in Gretna. I've been to what's the one in Bellevue?
Swine Dining.
Swine Dining. Yep,
Yeah.
went there. Yeah, I've been all over. And now since I've got a smoker, I mean, I cook a lot of my food, so it's tough to when you can cook it.
Yeah.
Good to eat out too, but
Yeah, definitely.
I need to get you some of my ribs.
Oh man, you speaking my language.
Yeah.
Man, I've just found that I did one this last summer where there's a barbecue tourist. Ryan Cooper is his name, and he's big barbecue guy. And he had teamed up with this other, I can't remember the other name of the barbecue place, but they were together on a Sunday making ribs. And I was like, ooh, I already have some ribs sitting out in the fridge. And I had never done this before. Usually I just I'm not a huge barbecuer. I just throw them on the grill. But I threw them on the grill in foil, brought them back in, did the butter and like the apple cider on top, and threw them back out there. Oh, these ribs were so good. So good. So
That sounds good.
oh yeah, there was some, I think
That's
I put brown sugar. I get so excited about food. Well, Coach,
I got a lot to learn. I got a lot to learn. I was going to say I got a lot to learn about the eateries around here. I watched your podcast. I forget what it was a couple of weeks ago about Papillion Eats. I need to check that out.
all good food.
I don't know who is in that. It's downtown Papillion, isn't it?
Oh, let's eat.
Oh, let's eat. Yeah. That sounds like
it's a pop-up experience.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, they have usually on Fridays. I think they're doing some Saturdays now, but they'll have a different restaurant coming and pop up. Like I think tomorrow, I think they're doing Thai food. So it's really cool. The owner, Jeannie, she just wants to get some diversity in Papillion. Her ex-husband, I believe, is Indian, so she had a lot of Indian food, and she loves it. And she was like, I don't know of any place around here that has Indian food, so I want to bring Indian food to Papillion. So she had one business lined up, but something happened the week that they were supposed to come out, and I connected her to the guy that I know over at Astoria, Omaha. So they came out, and I just saw that they're scheduled to come out again. So it's cool to see that stuff.
What are you, or type of eatery that you can bring in people from all over the place and really give this area another feel. So I think that's a great idea. Great concept.
Yep. So, there's a couple around town, but it's cool. I mean, and for the restaurants that are doing it, it gives them some more exposure into areas that they're not in. So people might go out and support them at their location. So I think it's a win-win.
True.
Well, I don't want to take any more of your night, man. I'm so grateful again for you guys and everything that you do for the kids there at the school, and not just on the mats, but in the classrooms as well. And I always have had a big respect for teachers, because I can barely deal with my 2 kids, and you guys deal with everybody else's kids. Like, I don't even know how you do it. So again, thank you guys for everything. Tip my hat to you, and I'll just give you a moment to say any final statement that you would like to say to whoever might be listening or watching.
Well, I just would like to say, thanks for the people that support sports and youth programs and are with kids, and positivity will shine through, and just being able to be in the position that I'm in at Papillion, and having the backing with leaders there at Papillion, all the way up to our superintendent, all the way down to our principal and AD. You can't give those people enough credit for doing the behind the scenes work. So, that myself and all the other coaches and, we can do our thing. So got to give them thanks. I also want to thank you for being supportive of your daughter. That I don't know if I would be as supportive of my daughter trying a new sport that close together in a COVID year. I mean, there's just lots of variables there. So I appreciate your bravery. And with Jamila, we had an even number of athletes, so everybody got an opportunity, and they're right around the same weight, which made it even better. So I appreciate you just having that forefront and that mindset that, hey, we're going to go out and grow, and we're going to get better, and it doesn't matter what it is, but we're going to move forward. And thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Keep supporting, keep doing your thing. Man, all props to you, and just keep doing it.
Man, thank you. And I will say that it was more Jamila than me, than my confidence. She wanted to do it so badly that I was like, okay. I did ask her a few times. I go, how does this make sense? You stopped doing jujitsu because of COVID, but now you want to wrestle. Like, how make this make sense for me, Jamila? I don't understand. And she's like,
well, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But you know what? It's totally fine. And I know all the precautions you guys take and whatnot. So I'm just happy that she had, again, an outlet, and such cool people to learn from, and cool teammates to have surround her and, help her feel comfortable. She never felt nervous, as far as I know. So I'm just happy about it all. So
appreciate it, my man.
Yeah, thank you. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you're listening on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're at, Radio Public, we're all over. And I just found out you can actually ask Alexa to play the What's Up Omaha podcast by Small Guy Promotions, and she will find it on Apple Podcasts for you. But like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Just help us grow. And that's what it's about. It's about growth in us, helping one another in the community, and spreading that positivity. And that's what it's all about. And as we end every episode, smile, help someone else smile, laugh, and help someone else laugh all day, every day. Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.